Looking good, feeling better, and we are back for part 2. If you haven't already watched this video, you might want to go watch that before you watch this one, because this is part 2 to my The Courage to Be Disliked book club series. I'm pretty much just summarizing the book, some key takeaways so that you don't have to read it if you don't want to. You can kind of learn while you're washing the dishes, you're at work, you're driving, whatever. I've been told that I make information pretty digestible, and I think it's because I'm just a really casual person, and I'm like, how can we explain this? How can we explain this in a way that takes up less brain space, because maybe I'm just stupid, but I like to know the gist of things, I'm like, just give me the big picture. Like, let's go. Let's get to it. So the reason that I split this into 2 parts is because I feel like the first part of this book was more individual based, and the second part, and there's not even a first and second part, I'm just making that distinction within the book, but the second part is more community focused. So in part 1, we pretty much left off with this idea that all of our problems in life are interpersonal relationship problems, okay? It's because other people exist that we have problems. No, it's really the way that we go about our relationships in this point system, right? We're always scoring things as good and bad, as better and worse, and it's just like competition and blah blah blah. And even if we don't think that we're doing that on a conscious level, there are ways that some of us can be doing it on a subconscious level, and it leads to us feeling shitty about ourselves, withdrawing from community, projecting that onto other people, and we don't really like that shit. We don't want that shit. We want to be happy, So although that's a big part of this book, right, that our problems come from us doing this whole scoring thing with other people and just not knowing how to have relationships well with other people, what I love is that, this book ends on a more positive note, and, and also holds space for duality that, this may be true, but it also means that this other thing is true. And that other thing is that although interpersonal relationships are a source of our pain, they're also a big source of our happiness as well. So the book proposes that all humans were really just looking for this feeling of community and this sense of feeling valued, and that it's okay to be here in this community. We want a sense of belonging. Now the problem is that some of us go about wanting to get this feeling of that sense of belonging and community by looking at other people as what can this person do for me? But that's a very selfish way to look at relationships, and it's a way to lead yourself to isolation and loneliness, and it's just not a realistic way to go through life, because everybody is going to disappoint you in some way. They're going to let you down, they're going to not serve you in some way. We're humans, okay? We're not built to serve I think we are built to serve each other in a nice spiritual share your gifts in whatever way, but we're not here to serve people, do whatever the fuck they say whenever, blah blah blah, so it's really unrealistic, and it's leads to a path of fucking, I don't know, self-destruction when you see life like this, because as soon as someone isn't serving you in some way, then you don't see them as your friend anymore, and it's you're never going to have friends and community and that feeling of community if you're always seeing other people through this lens of well, how are they serving me? So that's how not to get the community feeling, right? So how to get that community feeling and that sense of belonging is to actually not think of what can someone give me, but what can I offer to this person? When you're seeing life like that, that is truly committing to the community. Because here's the thing, that sense of belonging, it's not something that you get from other people. It's actually acquired through one's own efforts, okay? So, you are going out there and you are making yourself fucking useful, basically. That's kind of how I'm interpreting it, And that is what helps you feel like you belong and stuff, because you're putting your efforts towards contributing to others in some type of way. You got to put in those efforts. It's not, as the book says, it's not something that one is endowed with at birth. So essentially, don't wait for others to make you feel valued. You can do that shit today. If you feel you're valueless, you're useless, whatever the fuck, you can do something today for someone else, and it's in that effort that we feel that sense of belonging and that community and everything. Okay, something that I really love in this book is that he believes that the scope of community is infinite, okay? And that we're never truly separate. So I want to read a little excerpt, and this is from the chapter called Listen to the Voice of a Larger Community. He says, each person belongs to a separate community, and when it comes down to all of it, all of us belong to the community of Earth and the community of the universe. And remember that this book is written between a philosopher and a young man, right? The youth. So then the youth is like, that's pure sophistry to suddenly come out with, you belong to the universe, as if that could give someone a sense of belonging. And the philosopher responds, it's true, there's no way one can just imagine the entire universe all of a sudden. Even so, I would like you to gain the awareness that you belong to a separate, larger community that is beyond the one in your immediate vicinity. For example, the country or local society in which you live, and that you are contributing in some way within that community. The youth responds, then what about a situation like this? Say there's a guy who's unmarried, who has lost his job and his friends, and who avoids the company of other people and just lives off the money his parents left him. So basically, he's running away from all the tasks of work and tasks of friendship and tasks of love, right? Remember the life tasks. Would you say that even a guy like that belongs to some sort of community? And the philosopher responds, of course. Say he goes out to buy a loaf of bread, he pays for it with a coin. That coin does not simply go back to the bakers of the bread, it goes to the producers of the flour and butter and to the people who deliver those ingredients, to the purveyors of the gasoline used by the delivery vehicles, to the people in the oil producing countries where that fuel comes from, and so on and so on. It's all connected. People are never truly alone or separate from the community and cannot be. And I think that's so beautiful, because a lot of the time, like, this is something that I had to, come to terms with, or I don't know, it was really theorized, right? Because I can't go and ask exactly what he was feeling or what led him to do this. But when my friend passed away from suicide, and it's important for me to talk about this because I know that a lot of people struggle with this, and it's like on the freaking rise too, and it's a lot of men, After that, like as a friend, you just feel extremely guilty about like all the things you could have done, or what, you replay things in your head and you just think about how you could have done things differently and what role you played and all of that, right? Something that I learned from that experience was that a lot of the time, we're struggling with things that there are other people who can relate, and all of us are struggling with something. And unfortunately, I think like that real pain comes from like feeling that you're going through something and that you're alone in it, something is wrong with you, and I know it's a controversial subject, for some people, and I absolutely like do not like, I'm not encouraging it at all, but I'm saying that I can empathize with that feeling, of not being able to want to take on that pain anymore. I think that, that was definitely a big driving force with my channel, besides when I was doing all the weed stuff, like everything I've always talked about, and me trying to be open and vulnerable and talk about my mental health and things like this, really all stemmed from that experience, because I don't ever want anyone to feel like they're alone. You could probably say that it does come from some sort of like guilt, from that, but I think that if it's going to benefit other people, on the internet, and which it has, and I get beautiful messages from y'all and so much love and support, then hey, if that pain can, trigger and grow into, helping someone else, then shit, that's what I'm here to do. But I say all that to say that, you are never alone. Like, we really are all connected. You are impactful to someone, and we're gonna keep going into this, but something I love about this book is that it talks about, loving yourself and acknowledging yourself, and appreciating yourself out of this place of, your level of being, not the level of acts, so you're not just worthy because of these superficial acts, that we put on. You're good enough because you're here, which is why you should do the acts. But even if not, you're still valuable, you're still here, you're still part of the community, you're a human. We're all here to experience one another and just experience this fucking life together, and there's nothing wrong with you. Like, you're not too weird, you're not too much, you're not too different, you're not too nothing, and even if you are on those extremes of, hey, maybe you are pretty quirky, and hey, maybe you are pretty different in your style and whatever, dude, that's amazing. Like, you stand out, like you're unique, and all of us are. But if you feel like, you're a little extra and you're like, no, I am, I'm too much for people or whatever the fuck, like, just, you're gonna have to accept that you were born to be like a star. You're born to be like a star, you're supposed to stand out, and like, people are gonna look at you one way or another because you stand out in some way, but hey, give them something to look at. That's how I feel. Give them a reason. But yeah, dude, like, I don't know. We're all just interconnected and we're all part of this beautiful fucking universe. And I love these sentiments in this book because I think that they are very impactful and valuable, you know, and I wish that more of us felt that way about ourselves and each other because we get so caught up in like this, you know, bullshit, all the bullshit, all of it. That was from the chapter, Listen to the Larger Voice of the Community, right? What he means by this idea is that, you know, let's just say you're seeing your school as your community and some kind of conflict arises, some adversity, something happens where you no longer feel like that's your community, you know, this I belong here feeling. When this happens, if that was your larger community, the largest community that you felt you were part of was school, then you're gonna maybe go into your smaller community, right? Like your home, and shit, even if you have bad shit going on in your home and you don't feel like, you know, really safe in your fucking home, then you might even go just seclude yourself to your room, you know, and just be a shutout out of fear because you had this adversity, you had this challenge, something happened at that school, you know, at that community and in your community that made you feel like, you know, it's not safe to be a part of it anymore. And I could relate with this. I've done this. I mean, I got lucky that like, you know, the vid was happening. So it was like, okay, I could just, you know, hey, we all got to shut in, you know, anyway. So I could blame it on that. But I let it like linger a bit afterward too. But okay, so this idea of listening to the larger community is that you can't just go based off of your school or whatever, you know? There's a larger world that expands far beyond like your fucking school, Earth, the Milky Way, you know, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and it's infinite and we're all part of it, okay? This larger life, this larger community, this larger community of living conscious beings, you know? And all of us are a member of it. So if there's some shit going on in your school and it's making you feel like, you know, something's wrong with you or, you know, whatever the fuck, go out to the larger community. Is the larger community go in agreement with that? You know, maybe these stupid rules, you know, that we make up and these hierarchical systems within our jobs and our education, blah, blah, blah. Outside of that job, outside of school, outside of your family, whatever, are these things true? Is it okay to treat people like this? You have to judge things on the common sense of the larger community, right? Of like real life. And real life is that we're all equal, you know, we're equal in value. We're different and that's fine, but we're equal. And just because someone has authority within, you know, the confines of a school or your job or whatever, you know, little organization, little mini community that you're in, it doesn't allow for different types of treatment like disrespect, or it doesn't allow for, you know, whatever. Like if it's not okay for, let's just say, a parent to act a certain way towards a kid and you want to test that, it's like, would it be okay for that parent to treat anyone else like that? Or would it be okay for anyone else to treat that kid or that person like that, you know? No. If it goes beyond the bounds of like, you know, fucking physical safety and stuff like that, no, you know? You have to go within the voice of the larger community and not just in this looking at things authoritatively based on like where you are, right? On that like hierarchical system, right? The mom and the child or whatever, right? The dad and the child. The parent is higher on that hierarchy system, but you can't just judge things based off of that, right? Your principal, your employer, across the board. So although we need community and we need this feeling of like, you know, belonging in the community, we also can't rely on other people for our approval. Because if you're always just like living for other people's approval, then you're giving up your freedom, really. You're always living for other people, what they might think of, what they might approve of and not approve of. I do not have time for that shit, okay? And a very beautiful, you know, encouragement that this book gives is not to cling to the small community that's in front of you. There's always going to be more you and I. Wherever there's you and I, community emerges, right? So there's always going to be more community. There's always more of these larger communities that exist, right? That you are a part of, you know? Don't ever think that you're just so lost and alone and you're just so, you need to be to yourself because you're so different and everything. Like, no, dude, you're a human, you know? We're all part of this shit together. Like, it don't matter what you look like, it don't matter what you like, you know, as long as it's like the ethical, right? As long as it's not hurting anyone, okay? But if you're good on that, like you're good, you know, you're good. You're part of the community of the earth, you know? Fuck what these people think. Fuck what those people think. Like, just, it doesn't fucking matter. We're all just here together. So I love that he introduces this idea of horizontal relationships, right? Not seeing people on these vertical relationships, but seeing them horizontally, right? You're equal You're just different. You can't be doing this like, is someone less or better than me thing. That's vertical relationship. So he really advises against rebuking or praising someone, because even if you're praising someone, think about it, you're kind of like giving them this like good job, feeling. And on the surface, it's like, okay, well, what's wrong with that? It's kind of weird, because if you think about it, he proposes that it's kind of like you're being talked down to, like, good job, like, you're giving someone your approval. And the way he puts it is that like you're doing the passing of judgment by a person of ability on a person with no ability. So you're trying to say like, you're the one who approves whether this person is making the cuts or not, or so it's kind of like this weird vertical hierarchical way of viewing relationships. And he kind of says that like praise is like manipulation. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, like that's kind of like extensive. But let's see. I put a note here and it says hella interesting ... IDK though. Page 180 to 181. So let me see what I was referring to. Yeah, so it's like basically on what I just was talking about, the praise and stuff, right? It says when one person praises another, the goal is to manipulate someone who has less ability than you. It's not done out of gratitude or respect. Adlerian psychology is highly critical of reward and punishment education, because its intention is to manipulate children. So it's like, doing good, yay, you get praised. Doing bad, no, you get punished. The philosopher says, one wishes to be praised by someone, or conversely, one decides to give praise to someone. This is proof that one is seeing all interpersonal relationships as vertical relationships. It's because you are living in a vertical relationship that you want to be praised. Adlerian psychology refutes all manner of vertical relationships and proposes that interpersonal relationships be horizontal, equal but not the same, right? Like basically, be good with you and let people be good with them. We don't need to be doing this whole point fucking system with each other all the time. I feel like we do it off of beauty, we do it off of economic status, we do it off of education, we do it off of talents, health and fitness even, you could say. We judge people, right? We do this point system. Okay, I also put another note that says, damn, LOL, page 182. So my highlights here say, oh, it's a good example, okay. It's like when men say, it's thanks to me that there's food on the table, or, you have everything you need, so what are you complaining about? Such statements like this of economic superiority have no connection whatsoever to human worth. A company employee and a full-time housewife simply have different workspaces and roles and are truly equal but not the same. They are probably afraid that women will grow wise to their situation and start earning more than men do, and that women will start asserting themselves. They see all interpersonal relationships as vertical relationships, and they are afraid of being seen by women as beneath them. That is to say, they have intense hidden feelings of inferiority. In the first place, the feeling of inferiority is an awareness that arises within vertical relationships. If one can build horizontal relationships that are equal but not the same for all people, there will no longer be any room for inferiority complexes to merge. So stop feeling so shitty about yourself because you're making it shitty for other people, is essentially what it's saying. And that's why I put damn LOL as my note. So instead of doing this whole like praise and rebuking thing, he, proposes we do encouragement, encouragement. You don't intrude on other people's thing and try to manipulate them and force them into doing what you think is right. Instead, what you're going to do is encourage, right? Just like how you would if a friend helps you with something, you're not telling them, good job. You're like, thank you. Like, yeah, you give them encouragement. Or I guess if they're struggling with something, you don't go and try to fix their life for them. You encourage them to make certain decisions. You encourage them to find that willpower, to push through and, be resilient. You don't fucking like baby them or whatever, like, because you see your friends as equal to you, And also he says that constant praise can lead to the belief that one has no ability. So instead, to feel value and to show others, their value, you show words of gratitude. If you really want to be free, he says, it's a trap to constantly want to be praised by other people because you sell your soul pretty much, which hence the courage to be disliked. You gotta be disliked by some people. It's just gonna happen. You can't live your life always, waiting for approval from other people because as he says, at that point, you have no choice but to adapt to that person's yardstick and put the brakes on one's own freedoms. And the thing is, everyone has these different yardsticks, Like, personally, I am Latina Asian woman, and I grew up with the Latina side, and I don't know, I think I just probably was conditioned or something, or I don't know, just my community. But I like men who have a clean, like, streetwear, the pro club, just simple, like, clean tennis shoe, just t-shirt, white, gray, black, whatever, pro club. Or you could be wearing, like, a little Dodger jersey, or, that's just my style. And that's, like, my yardstick, that's my yardstick. That's what how I, like, rate men, or whatever the fuck, right? And then some men, they do the same, the dark hair, long, straight dark hair. Some men like the nails, the tattoos, all of that. And it's just a cultural thing, I think. But through that lens, that's the yardstick, But to other people, their yardstick for, a woman might be blonde hair and blue eyes and country and no tattoos. Like somebody told me in my comments something about the hood and da-da-da, and I was like, I'm not even hood. Like, I'm just Mexican. So I don't know where that came from. But they said something about, you can take the hood rat out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the hood rat, or some stupid shit like that, right? And then they said something about nasty ass tattoos too. I'm like, first of all, I have this one. I have another one that's hidden. But, like, to him, he was, like, calling them nasty and stuff. Whereas to me, I'm like, dude, tattoos are fucking tight. I love seeing people's tattoos. I love complimenting them on them. I love tattoo artists. I love it. It just is art, But everyone's yardstick is different. That's my point, right? Like, to some people, something's ghetto. To some people, something's nasty. To some people, something's something. Just do you. It's way too complicated to, like, try to be everything, And my life has gone so much better when I just started embracing who I am and what I like, I like a little chain. I like a little, just simple, like I said, the pro club, like, that's just who I am. That's what I like. And it doesn't say anything about what type of person I am, like, as far as ethics and morals. And we are gonna do a whole video on fucking how a lot of that how a lot of what people tie ethics and morals to, like, it is such a trap, and it's such a cover up of the bad shit that they're really doing. And yeah, we're just gonna get into that later. But yeah, okay, so live life according to your own yardstick, If you want to have self-worth, you have to accept yourself as you are and have the courage to face your life tasks. In order to have a sense of worth, you need to believe that I am beneficial to the community. I'm of use to someone. Instead of, like, that feeling of being judged as good by someone else, we're able to, from our subjective viewpoint, decide that I can make contributions to other people. That's where we get our sense of worth from, which I love because it's something that we do. It's not something we need to rely on other people for, We get to say what we care about and what we want to contribute to, and that's fine. I think the world would be so much better if we were all more self-aware and had that relationship with ourselves, and that, like, awareness of just, like, what matters to us and in what ways we want to kind of, like, show off our skills a little bit to make the world a better place, because then we'd all feel good about ourselves. We'd feel all aligned, we'd be making contributions, like, we'd probably be so much more productive. Y'all, since I have been, like, freelancing and I'm my own fucking boss, I'm so much more productive. I'm a horrible worker, dude. Like, and I don't even, like, mean to. Like, I'm respectful, but, like, I'm respectful as much as I need to be. If I'm on the clock, dude, like, I fuck off. I'll be on my fucking phone in the bathroom. Like, I'm fucking hitting my pen in the bathroom. Like, I'm just, like, I just can't. But when I'm on my own time and I'm fucking creative, and I'm just, like, being paid and valued for my skills and the things that, I'm putting out there that I care about and I like, social media and art are my things pretty much. I don't know, and philosophy, life talks like this, but I feel so much better about myself and I'm so much more productive. And I can imagine that if we were all like this, like, we'd all be having, like, the most amazing fucking earth life community ever. So that's why I make these videos, because, the more of us that are like this, the more cool people we are out here in the world, and we're not fucking projecting our shit onto other people, making them feel bad. We're just, like, encouraging each other. We're like, what's up? Like, what are you doing? Like, what do you like to do? How's life going? What's your parents like? I don't know. What's up? So here's where he introduces that idea of valuing oneself and others, not on a level of acts, but instead on a level of being. So I think this is so beautiful, and it like literally makes me want to cry. If you look at everyone on a level of being, you know, the only qualification you need to have value is that you exist. That's so beautiful. And is that not how God sees us? Is that not how God sees us, you know? Like, we are literally valued. Something, something, some intelligent being thought that we were supposed to be here. And that can make me cry. It's just so cute, you know? Like, God, life, you know, this experience, something that thought we were good enough, you know? So whether you feel you're not good enough because of your looks, because of your intelligence or lack thereof, or talent, or whatever the fuck, you know, whatever you're comparing yourself to other people and, you know, making these or basing your self-worth in, that's not really true. It's for nothing, you know, because like, dude, you don't need to meet certain criteria to be good enough, you know, like you're good enough because you're here. You can always strive for improvement, and we do that, you know, as humans. That's what makes us awesome. That's what makes us evolve. Technology, all that shit, you know, but it needs to come from a healthy place, you know. That's how we really grow, and we really take the things that we love and we're passionate about, and we amplify them, and we bring these amazing creative ideas into the world, whether it's through a comedy skit, whether it's through a fucking amazing scientific invention, whatever it is, you know. I think that's how we do our best work, you know, because we're passionate and we feel like, why not? When we think that we're not good enough, we hold ourselves back from being all of our greatness, you know, and it just sucks. So accept yourself on a level of being, you know, not acts. It'll give you more courage to do the acts, first of all. Basically, if you're looking at yourself on a level of acts, it's like... it's just like you're gonna be negative at some point, because we are fucking humans, you know, we all fuck up. But when you look at yourself on a level of acts, you are looking at yourself with like 100 points, right? Or you're looking at someone else, 100 points. And from there, what you're doing is every time you fuck up or someone fucks up, you're subtracting, you know, you're just subtracting from that. How many points, you know? And it's not this like conscious thing, you know, it's not like you're like, Tom is 8. Tom is down to fucking 43. You know, it's not conscious, but it's like the subconscious thing of how we value other people, and it shows, because it's like how you do one thing is how you do everything. That's how you're valuing yourself too, and it sucks because like we're all gonna be negative, you know, and I don't want to live pessimistically like that and then negative. And I know it's like even the youth in this book, right, is like, isn't this, you know, what you're trying to like imply here to do, you know, see everyone as equal and whatever, is it like too neighborly love, like, you know, Christianity, like, is it even fucking realistic and possible? Like, who could do this? You know, and it is trying to always be the bigger person and whatever, like, is that trying to be like too holier than thou? And I love this. He says someone has to start. Okay, start with no regard to whether others are cooperative or not, because that's not your job, right? Separate the task. Do what you could do. Remember that you are of use just by being alive, so don't let nobody disrespect you, because we're all equal in consciousness, okay? And, you know, you can assert what needs to be asserted. You can place boundaries. You don't need to let people just like walk all over you, is essentially what he's saying. But now that you know this knowledge, you know, if it's in your heart to try and apply some of it, start. He then goes into, I really love this part about self-acceptance versus self-affirmation. This is why affirmations don't exist, is because when you're doing affirmations, like it's almost like you're lying to yourself. You know, you're trying to lie to yourself, and your subconscious knows. So if you don't believe it, it's almost like you're making yourself feel like more shitty that you're not really living and believing those things that you're trying to tell yourself that you're affirming, you know? And the only way to really feel what you're trying to feel about yourself, that self-worth, when you're doing affirmations, is to have self-acceptance, you know? Like, you don't need to be the greatest, like, you don't need to be the hottest, you don't need to be the smartest and be so strong and powerful and everything. Like, it's okay to be normal. And I I love that that's even in this fucking book, because I think especially with, today's day and age of social media and stuff, it's like especially if you're trying to be a content creator and stuff, it's your job is being perceived and liked by other people, and it can kind of fuck with your head. And even I think just regular people who are not trying to be content creators, it's like the relationship with social media could be complicated. That's why I keep my notifications off. I try not to get all up in my comments. I have to like space things out, especially as my shit grows. It's because I'm like, I don't want to I don't think it's like normal, like I think it's awesome and it's cool and I'm gonna do it and I love it, but I don't think it's like normal for our brains to be like taking in like what other people are saying about us, to us, all the time. Like it has to, like I have to choose to do it. Yeah, you need to have self-acceptance. Don't just try to affirm yourself into self-acceptance. You need to really have self-acceptance, like the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, because if you don't, then you don't really allow yourself to be, who you really are, which is like this innocent being. We're all these innocent beings, really. I mean, hey, look, some of us, we may have done some shit and tainted that innocence, but we're innocent to life, as in like we don't know what the fuck we're doing here, we're all just here, like trying to figure it out. And we're all just, each moment is new to all of us, it's constantly being created. And if you don't have self-acceptance, you're always thinking about what other people are thinking of you, like you don't allow yourself to really be, because you don't allow yourself to be innocent in front of other people and just take each moment as it is. You're always trying to like control, your image or whatever in each moment. And it's like, just because you don't want to be laughed at, or you don't want to be like someone to look at you like you're a fool or whatever, but like fuck that. If people like, make such quick assumptions and judgments, it's like, those are not even people you're trying to fucking impress anyway. And if you don't start with the self-love and that self-acceptance, you're never going to find people who actually love and accept you for you, because if you're not cool with you, you're going to avoid interpersonal relationships in which you would be yourself and be that innocent, free version of yourself and actually experience love, because you're scared of it, because you don't even love yourself. You don't, for some reason, you're not believing that you're deserving of it, or, that you have to be a certain way to get it. But that's where we can like lead ourselves to isolation, because you believe that you could be free on your own when you're alone, right? And this is something I've been like having to struggle with, coming out of my fucking shell, especially like growing up with like such harsh punishment. I feel like I do, and it's interesting because like I'm perceived well, I think, by most people off the top, and I think it's because I speak well, I speak confidently, I'm usually put together. I like to be put together. I like to, enhance the beauty, with a little makeup and whatever. And I put on, that version of me that would probably be most accepted in society, but I have struggled with feeling like I could actually be my full self, because I think that I don't look like how I act. And like, I see it often with people, like when that fantasy breaks, and even if it's like a split moment of someone meeting me and then I open my mouth, like I see it in their face. And it's like, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but like, because I notice it, and I feel like I kind of could be a little strong sometimes, with my humor or whatever, like, or I don't know, I'll just like assert myself into shit. I don't know, because I've seen that in other people. Like I'll dilute myself a little bit, because I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. Like I don't want to deal with having to do this whole person trying to understand me thing. But as this book suggests, it's not my fucking job for you to understand me, okay? It's not my fucking job to be your little fucking fantasy. It's not my job to be whatever this like caricaturized version of me in your head that you made up is. And look, you're not with me. No one's ever with me 24/7, so no one's ever gonna fully know me like I know myself. But like, I don't need to like let what other people's assumptions of me are like fuck with who I know I am, Like when that white guy came up to me at the fucking roller rink. I don't know why this keeps happening. Like where people say shit like, okay, this fucking white guy at the roller skating rink. I've told this story before, but he basically came up to me and was like saying about how as soon as he's seen me, I'm the type of Latina he liked and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I have a man, but okay. He's like, you know, do you know any other Latinas? And then he was like asking me if my school was ratchet and stuff like that. And it like started going down that route. And then he started saying like about how he liked ghetto. He liked that ghetto shit he said about rap. And I was like, okay. I was like, me too, but like, what? Like, it's weird that like you just came up to me and you're saying that because like, what about me? Like, you don't even know me, like. So like you could tell people make an assumption about you, you know, and then they talk to you. But I was offended. Okay, I was like kind of offended like after that because I was like, what vibe do I give off? Like, what's going on? Even though it was true, but even though he was a little right, but nonetheless, like, you know, I was a little offended at that, at like caricaturization. And of course I had a flannel that day, so I probably looked like a little fucking cholita. But anyway. I don't need to be fucking offended at that because it's not my job for me to educate this fucking white guy from Calabasas on like why you shouldn't just stereotype someone based on, you know, and just walk right up to them and have this conversation where you're like projecting these stereotypes of what you think that this person is. It's not my job to educate him on that shit, you know? Like, I'm more than Hot Cheetos and like rap music and stuff. I love Hot Cheetos and I love rap music, but I'm like more than that. And it's just like, it's weird when you can see someone seeing you only as that stereotype, you know? But it's not my fucking job. Okay, and so we end this long video. See why I had to split it into two? Just, you know, remember that you are so powerful. You have the power to change your life. Your perspective is so powerful, and you make an impact, dude. I'm just some regular fucking bitch. Seriously, I'm just some regular bitch from fucking LA, and I just decided to hop on camera, you know, and put my heart out there. Send my love. Just sending my love to you. Oh, I was listening to that song in the car the other day and I was vibing. But, you know, I just decided to put my heart on the internet and show up and, you know, try to contribute in the ways that I can. And I think that I have a gift of like uplifting people, educating people, encouraging people, making them feel safe and seen. And I love that. And I love to do it. And I hope that this video did that for you. And I hope that I could always be a reminder. Every time you see my content, you remember, oh yeah, I am that bitch. Oh yeah, I am that guy, you know? Because we're here. We all are. We're all here and we're all that bitch and we're all that guy. And life is a lot better when you see each other like that and you see yourself like that. It just sucks so much when you're comparing yourself to other people. Live abundantly, you know? We can all be that bitch. We can all be that guy. We can all be the shit together, you know? And I think when we are doing it together and we're encouraging it within one another, we make such amazing things happen, you know? So again, you know, not everyone's going to respond well to it, you being your authentic self and, you know, trying to show up in the community the way that you want to. But someone has to start, you know? Someone has to start. And you being your authentic self is going to inspire someone else too, you know? And if it doesn't and it triggers their insecurities, hey, maybe that might send them on a journey where they go deal with that shit. So still, just start. And yeah, he ends it with like the world is simple and life is too. And I do believe that. I do believe life is simple. It's not easy. My dad says that. He's like, ain't nobody told you it's gonna be easy, but it's simple. And I look at him and I'm like, usually with tears in my eyes, you're right. I just sad. I'm just so sad right now. That's usually how it goes. But, you know, it's a practice. It's a dance, right? Dance the dance, baby. No fucking parking. No fucking parking on the dance floor, okay? Dance the dance. Show up to each moment courageously, okay? I keep on saying this in my videos, but it's because it really has helped me over this past, like, month or so. But just because you feel bad doesn't mean you have to act like it, okay? Show up. Dance the dance. Put the fucking effort. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the outcome is. All you could do is what you could do, okay? And when you focus on that, you fuck around, you find out you're a lot more powerful than you fucking thought you were. So I'll leave y'all with that. I love you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me and like doing this book club. I know that these were really long, but I applaud you and I'm happy that we are committed to our growth as individuals and, our learning and whatever. And I really appreciate y'all giving me any of your time and like listening to this random bitch talk about this book, because who the fuck am I, But yeah, I love y'all. Go follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and stuff, because I'm trying to post more on there. But yeah, the next book I'm going to be reading is The Midnight Library. That probably won't be as long as this one because it's like a fiction book, but it does have gems, and it is starting to give me many insights that I'm already ready for the next, to start adding to the next video. But yeah, I hope that y'all enjoy it. Stay tuned, and I will see y'all next time. Bye bye.